Africa is composed of a bunch of different countries and is a very important place when it comes to the continent, being pretty much the home of some of the most famous and most powerful heroes we have ever seen in the pages of our favorite comics. Join me as we count down the top 10 most powerful African superheroes. Number 10. Earthstrike. Earthstrike was the former leader of the African superhero group known as the Kingdom. Years ago, when superheroes began to emerge the world over, the Kingdom was formed and together fought to free the Congo. Once their mission was achieved, they mysteriously disappeared. Batwing finds out more about them and why it really is that they decided to retire and return to civilian life when the serial killer Massacre shows up and starts killing them off, apparently seeking revenge on the behalf of the Congo. Earthstrike's powers allowed him to control stone and the minerals of the earth. He was basically like an earthbender. Unfortunately, dceu, who was once known as Earthstrike, was found by Massacre and killed. Number 9. Okoye. Okoye is a powerful warrior and a member of the Dora Milaje in Wakanda. While she doesn't have a massive role in the comics, in the MCU, she has become a more prominent character in regards to Black Panther's story. Here we see her alongside her fellow Dora Milaje members from the comics, Nakia. Except where in the comics Nakia's love for King T'Challa was very unrequited, in the films it is actually reciprocated, and the two were once and become once more again a couple. The Dora Milaje are basically like the king's bodyguards in the comics, and are all women because traditionally they were seen as wives in training for the king, and actually came from a bunch of different tribes in Wakanda. Usually the rival tribes, so that, you know, kind of have a little bit of bringing everybody together, which is great. T'Challa, however, is not about the whole wives in training part of the tradition, so when he brings back the Dora Milaje, he simply decides to ignore that part of the tradition. Okoye herself was trusted in the comics by T'Challa to help oversee his creation of the secret agent team known as the Agents of Wakanda, a team which Okoye would also become the director of. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it where we talk about all sorts of different places around the world, be sure to show your love by giving this video a thumbs up. There's lots of cool places to talk about. Number 8. Batwing. Batwing is basically like the Batman of the African nation of Tinashe. Prior to becoming Batwing, David Zavimbe was a former child soldier who became a police officer. He is originally from the Congo. He ended up turning against those he worked for when he was younger because, well, they threw his brother off of a cliff. Rebelling and escaping his captors who had trained him since he was young in the ways of war, he grew up in an orphanage from there on. Eventually, he would go on to become a police officer and later join Batman Incorporated, hence his mantle of Batwing. Batwing has also been a member and ally of the Justice League International Superhero Team as well. He doesn't have any formal superpowers, but is an exceptionally skilled, trained, capable, and determined individual with knowledge in many different types of combat and across various fields. And like Batman, he is also known for his investigative skills. Number 7. Powerman. Powerman was a comic book superhero who was not only from Africa, but was actually created specifically for the people of Nigeria to help improve literacy rates. He was a superhero who had super strength and could fly, with his only known weakness being that of a snake bite. Powerman shouldn't be confused with Powerman, a name commonly used by Luke Cage. This Powerman is quite different. His comic now might seem somewhat dated, but back in the day, it was pretty revolutionary, as most comics that were imported into Nigeria had only white protagonists in them. Powerman, when reprinted for distribution in the UK, later saw the main character switch names from Powerman to Powerbolt to avoid confusion with Marvel Comics character Luke Cage. The series also featured a backup story which followed a sheriff named Django, and I kind of have to wonder if this other hero featured here also helped to inspire the modern day superhero from the Tarantino film Django Unchained, where Django instead is spelled with a silent D. Also, I feel like there's gonna be people that are like, Django's not a superhero, but to me he's a superhero. In my heart. Number 6. Vixen. Vixen comes to us from DC Comics. She is a supermodel turned businesswoman, and in current continuity a supermodel slash fashion designer turned primetime show host and animal activist. Well, it's more than likely that Vixen has been an animal activist ever since she possessed the superpower to take various animal shapes. Armed with the Tantu totem, she can transform into different animals and harness their own unique abilities and power. Currently in Prime Earth continuity, Mari McCabe doesn't even need the Tantu totem to take on some animal characteristics, and seems to have found power within herself due to her connection to the spider-like goddess character of myth and folklore, Anansi. Vixen is American and spent many years in the United States from a young age, but she was originally born in and from Zambezi, which in the comics is located in Africa. Number 5. Gentle. Despite his name, Gentle is actually a very physically strong character with a lot of power behind him. Gentle is a mutant from Wakanda who is part Wakandan and part Russian when it comes to his heritage. His mother was from Wakanda and his father was Russian. This seemed to cause a lot of grief for the mutant, whose birth name is Nesno Abidemi, as he was often treated as an outcast because of both his heritage and the fact that he was also a mutant. Although more recently in the comics it's been suggested these feelings of being excluded were kinda more of a front, as he is basically a secret agent of Wakanda who remains loyal to his king T'Challa. Gentle's mutant abilities allow him to expand his muscles. His limits are not quite known, but the process is exceedingly painful and causes great strain on his body. This is why he has vibranium tattoos all over him, which apparently are able to penetrate his muscles and help him to control and somewhat contain his powers as needed. Number 4. Isis. Isis was the love of Black Adam. Known originally as Adriana Tomaz, she was given the power of Isis after Black Adam retrieved a magical amulet and had Shazam imbue it with some power. This was back in the New Earth continuity, by the way, but still, back then Adriana became Isis and became a powerful force, who fought alongside her brother, who also became Osiris, and alongside Black Adam, her lover and later her husband. Unfortunately, Isis's power to control the elements as well as her increased durability, strength, and healing factor would not be enough to save her, and in the end she would end up dying, turning Black Adam once more to the side of darkness after being the one to help reform him in the first place. I know, it's pretty messed up. But I guess despite being merciful in life, when confronting her own and her brother's own deaths, she had a change of heart in the end. Still, up until that point, Isis was a relatively heroic and powerful figure. After she's brought back though to life after dying, she pretty much goes straight villain. Hopefully we'll get to see more of the heroic side of her when she appears in the DCEU. Number 3. Black Adam. Black Adam really only ranks a touch lower here because of his history of being a villain in the comics. However, despite that, I would say in the modern day we consider Black Adam to be more of an anti-hero figure, and I imagine he might even lean a little bit more hero after Dwayne Johnson portrays him on the big screen. Teth Adam was actually an Egyptian who was enslaved. He was granted the powers of Shazam when his nephew Aman, who was bestowed with them, shared said powers with him, but ended up locked away in the Rock of Eternity and stripped of all power after he misused those powers, killing his own nephew in the process as he believed it was necessary. He was like, I need all this power for myself because the way that we both want to free Kandak is not right. Your way is not probably gonna work, so I'm just gonna kill you and then I'll have all the power and then I'll do it my way. Turns out that wasn't a good idea. Black Adam currently in the comics is on a path of redemption though. While his methods may continue to sometimes be questionable, his heart at least is in the right place. Instead of relying on the power of Shazam in modern day, Black Adam was instead imbued with powers by 6 of the Egyptian gods. Number 2. Black Panther. Black Panther is not just a powerful superhero gifted with the strength and powers granted to him by the heart-shaped herb, but he is also known for being the ruler of the fictional African nation of Wakanda. In the comics, this nation showcases a beautiful coming together of both the new and the old. It blends the wisdom of tradition, respecting the tribal heritage of the land, with new age technology, with Wakanda getting to enjoy many advancements and comforts due to their supply of vibranium, one of the most versatile and durable substances in the world. Of course, vibranium didn't come from the Earth itself, but actually is believed to be alien in origin. Combine the power and skills of T'Challa, aka Black Panther, with his connection to both Wakanda and at one point the underworld, and you have a stupendously powerful hero on your hands. Number 1. Storm. I mean, we can't have a list like this without mentioning Storm, now can we? Storm is an immensely powerful mutant who is also currently the regent of Mars, joining up with the ruling council of Arakko. So not only is she powerful currently when it comes to her superpowers, abilities, prowess as a fighter, and her strength of character, but she also now is powerful in the sphere of influence influence as well. Politically, she is once again a ruler and a leader, and this time she's also a ruler and a leader of like a whole planet, which means she has a whole world at her back that in theory would likely join her in any cause that she deemed fit. As long as they respected Storm, and I feel like more and more Arakko is respecting Storm and understanding why we all love her. While Storm herself was born in New York and is African American, her mother was a Kenyan princess, and Storm herself is descended from a long line of powerful African priestesses. So although she wasn't born necessarily anywhere in Africa, I think we can still consider her to be part of that group. She also currently holds a god level status and was elevated in more recent years to a real life goddess, who becomes more and more powerful as more people believe in her. Who are some of your favorite superheroes who hail from the area of the globe known as Africa? It's a lot of area. Is there a specific country in Africa that you feel like needs more love when it comes to having their own heroes introduced? What other regions and areas of the world would you like to hear us talk about next when it comes to comics? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.